Monokuma is a robot bear, and yet he can make cubs. That's none of my business. Hello everyone, this is your Lethal Spurg, John Peterson here. Back with more Deckout Chillstream. Good evening to all y'all. Yes!
Text to me. Caustic mains. Poor unaware new players stepping into a room in bunker. Teammate. I'm out of ammo. Looking for heavy. Me with 300 rounds for my spite fire. When you're Pathfinder and you are waiting at the building your squad mates didn't use your zipline to get to. Spamping the enemy who downed you. Cry. Apex Legends. Sleep. Fortnite one day after Apex Legends drops. Bloodhound. Uses Beast of the Hunt. Me. When the champion has 900 plus kills. When they die in the first 30 seconds. PUBG. Fortnite Battle Royale. I'm the best PR game. No one will be more popular. Apex Legends. Tetris 99. Hello. It is I, your surrogate father. Text to meme. This is the most important thing I will ever tell you. I have done something truly extraordinary, and you are about to get in on the ground floor. Those of you who have faithfully followed me with watchful eyes saw the signs I left behind for my chosen meme kids. And now it is time to introduce to you, Meme Rebuke, the world's first and best meme game mobile game. Now on the Google Play Store. Protect the meme egg from dead memes. Whatever you do, don't die to an oaf. That would be extremely embarrassing. The first person to unlock the seal drop Despacito character will receive a unique once-in-a-lifetime Discord role. Now, go out and download Meme Rebuke, and tell every last one of your friends at the school lunch table to play it. Take their phones and download Meme Rebuke. The best scores, tweets, and videos about Meme Rebuke will appear on this channel, and will get loads of attention from me. Now be good little meme kids, and do as I say, or I will make you a village idiot. Pop in smoke. Bloodhound Ultimate. Bloodhound. Gibraltar. Lifeline. Pathfinder. Wraith. Bangalore. Caustic. Mirage. Dropship. Exists. My random jump master. Let's just jump into it. When a level 300 Wraith shows up out of nowhere with a Peacekeeper. Gun. Gun. Mozambique. Gun. Everyone. Mozambique. Everyone. You're the worst gun in the game. The Mozambique. Me getting a win. The guy on my team with 15 kills. Nobody. Me at the stairs in bunker. Enemy. Shoots once. Wraith. Going into phase. The loudest sounds on earth. Concert speakers. Fireworks. Gunfire. Blue whale. Space shuttle. The Apex Legends selection screen. When your hologram bamboozles the other team, but also gives away your position. When you want a friend request a good teammate in Apex, but didn't write down their IGN. He exists now. Only in my memory. My heart. Fighting an enemy. Being attacked. 2 squads left. When your squad is hiding in a building, trying to revive you, but then all you hear, "All father, give me sight." When the jump master actually goes to the place you pinged. Someone. Aims. Wraith. Our caustic blocking the doors. Enemy team trapped in a small room. Let me out. Let me out. Wendy's. You all talking about bacon cheese fries, like you can't get back an 8 of fries for free with any purchase in our app right now. PUBG or Fortnite? Apex. Fortnite vs Apex Legends. Fortnite Battle Royale. Apex Legends. Name a better duo? I'll wait. Caustic Jump Master. I feel the most alive when rapidly approaching my death. Me. Life has no meaning. 11. When your teammates take all the good loot from your care package. When it's been 10 minutes and you still only have a level 1 helmet. When you predict it's a Mirage's decoy. Landing in hot drop. Picking up Mozambique. Downed by punching. Me flexing with level 80. Random teammates. Having absolutely no social life. And playing 10 hours a day. Apex voice chat. Epic game staff. Epic. The Stevie T. Playing Apex Legends. Enemies with a Peacekeeper. Me with a Peacekeeper. When you pick up an extended heavy mag and put it on your wingman. Me. Is it even possible to get a kill with the Mozambique? Respawn. Well yes, but actually no. Thank you all for not you being such great weapons. When ring is closing too fast. Uber. Enemy with level 2 armor and a Peacekeeper. Me with a helmet, a backpack, and 3 sniper stocks. Mozambique memes. Literally any memes on the internet. Me. My teammates. All of my good loot. My death box. Snoop Dogg. Anti-vaxx's mom. HVAC repair guy. First Hawaiian to the moon. Jamaican Princess Leia. 6th member of the Backstreet Boys. GoPro with legs. Weeboo. Mozambique. You guys always act like you're better than me. Eva 8 Auto. Peacekeeper. Mastiff. Nobody. Jude's that main Pathfinder. Remember Bastion. This is him now. Feel old yet? For more spicy memes just like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to check out our other videos and thanks for watching. Download Meme Rebuke.
And alright, we are going. How's everyone doing tonight?
You know, it's not been that long since we talked before. There's always something going on because of how the world is right now. It's
Yeah,
actually
guys,
crazy.
you might have noticed this yesterday. I had an event set up for this live stream yesterday. We were having technical difficulties though,
Yeah.
so yeah, we
But now it's
kind of
fixed,
put it off
luckily.
today. There was a little problem in Trump's Discord. We got that all resolved. That's fine now. So now we're back
Yeah.
doing this shit.
Exactly.
All right, so Trumpster, what are we going to be talking about today?
So the thing I actually was talking about, which I sent Red Pill Dragon, was a link about
It was a Breitbart article.
a Breitbart article about how a former DC government employee convicted of $400,000 of welfare fraud. And this article was talking about how this DC bureaucrat was basically stifling off money and basically frauding the whole welfare state and profiting off that. And there's a number on the very bottom that said about there's over
let
$1
me move it
billion.
onto the screen for you guys so you can see it. This is the
Yeah,
article we're talking about. If you want to pull it up, just type. Here, let me post it in the chat.
yeah,
for
link
you
it in,
guys,
link it in.
actually.
Yeah.
Here, I'll post it in the
So,
chat for
yeah,
you guys. There you go, right
got
there.
it. Yeah, and the thing that got us thinking was, okay, we saw this fraud article. The Government Accountability Office said that there's at least $1 billion in SNAP
I see
benefits
Josh in the chat.
that
What's
are
good, my
trafficked
boy?
each
What's
year.
going
There
on,
are
brother?
fraud essentially.
Over $1 billion. Where
And
in the article is that? Oh,
the second
never
arm.
mind. I
Yeah,
found it. It's towards the bottom. It's right
Son
here.
of
right.
a
I have it
Yeah,
high.
and
Whoops. I'm highlighting it in
Monica.
blue for you guys to see it. That
Thank
part right there.
you.
That's the
right,
important part here.
right. And the thing is, you gotta think. Let's think about this, right? Who is frauding and who is gaming the system? What people are in the system, taking money away from people who actually need it, and essentially making us taxpayers pay money. And the answer always
Personally,
comes back,
Trumpster, to
yeah,
me, the only government benefit I'm okay with existing is unemployment and maybe a
Oh,
couple others, but that's
happy
it.
right.
birthday to you,
We
There's
need to
not a
Josh.
start
lot.
shrinking this down. This is a problem.
The
What
government
better
It's
is
way
like
to
not
kick off
it's
to
like
celebrate
included.
your
it's somewhere
birthday is by
between
building decks, my
one
boy.
third and half of our entire GDP goes to welfare. How is
Yes,
that sustainable? That is
it's not.
ridiculous.
No, it's not. Thing is with government, right? The more big government is, the more people are essentially enslaved and basically
Hmm.
forced to be a part of the government.
And that's what's going
They
on here.
rely, yes, they rely on the government. They're dependent on it, and essentially they get so dependent on it that people who are actually working for the money are paying for everything that they need. That's
And the
pretty much
thing
how
is,
it's going.
there's more of them coming in too every year. And Trump,
Right,
I'm gonna move the CI. We'll get back to the Breitbart article, but I'm
right.
gonna move the CIS article onto the screen so you guys can see it. Now, guys, this article came out some time ago. This number's been disputed, but not by much, to be honest. And
Yeah,
this article says 63% of non-citizen households access welfare programs compared to 35%
Hey,
of
no
native
problem, man.
households. Now,
Bro's
guys,
gotta
why
do
this
what a
is
right.
bro's gotta
important,
do.
keep in mind we're importing into our country 1 million of these people every year, and most of them are going on welfare. That is a problem. 63% of the people that are coming into our country every year, both legal and illegal, are going on welfare. That's not
Right.
sustainable.
No, of course not. It's not sustainable at all. There's literally no way you can sustain that. That's me as like
Like,
why do people
where's the
want that
breaking
stuff
point? How many? How
much
long
more?
before the system breaks? Is what's happening, Trumpster. We're importing more and more unproductive people into our country who take more than they give. What's that doing? That's driving up our taxes, or driving up government debt, one or the other, or both. And it's just it's choking the rest of us who
Exactly.
are
And
productive.
because the thing is, when I sent the article about that government bureaucrat who was taking money away, it came to a bigger question, right? Because it said there was over $1 billion in SNAP benefits that have been fraud that we know of at least.
You know,
The question
remember
is,
Marco
what people?
Tenry? Marco Tenry. He's a mutual viewer of ours. He once told us about how in his state, which is Connecticut, what happens is, I believe he said something. Now this was a while ago. He said this to us, but I believe he said something along the
Yeah,
lines of like, people will sell their food stamps for money,
right. I'm
and
not
then you
surprised by
and
that.
then use
That's
that money
fraud.
to buy something that the food stamps wouldn't allow them for. How is that okay?
It's not okay. It's not okay at all. But the thing is, right, when you think about like the thing that I wanted to drive this point forwards, right, is when you talk about something that kind of games and is fraud and is that takes away our money and all that. You gotta think bigger picture, right? Now I've had that tiny article about that one little employee, which I'm sure there's many more of, but what people are taking away the benefits that welfare is supposed to be going towards. What people are taking disabilities, benefits. What people are sort of gaming the system with food stamps and things like that. Because that's again a part of accountability and holding people accountable. And the answer to that is, of course, like this. You see this article right here: 63% of non-citizen households access welfare programs. Because people need the money who are here domestically, who are here originally, and they should be taken care of much more than any immigrants or people coming into our country.
And trust me, on top of that, like, sure, our citizens need it, but I'd like to have lower taxes too.
Yes, of course. I
It
would like
drives
lower
up our
taxes.
taxes. I'm paying more I'm paying more out of my paycheck. I'm paying more money that I worked so that some person
Right,
can come in here and leech off of our government like a parasite. That pisses me off
right.
knowing that.
Citizens, in a census bureau data, roughly half are in the country illegally. The people who oversight their visas and people who don't have green cards.
People who swam across. You know, there's a video that I
Forever.
want to find for
Yeah.
you guys. Let me look for it. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Hold on a second. Go on, Trumpster, while I
Oh,
find
I'm
this
saying,
video.
yeah. I'm saying also, it's not like just like our talk about is how there is such a major correlation between immigration and, of course, welfare state, and how a lot of times you have like these studies say people who are not here the right way, who are taking money away from people who deserve the money more. Money that we earn through work and jobs and all that should be going towards people, if anything, who need it, not people who are gaming the system and frauding and leeching off of it. If you have free money essentially, and we're offering it to people who are on welfare or people
I'm not
who are,
finding the video. No, guys, the video I'm talking about, this video came out a while ago. Vince James of the Red Elephants, he talks about this topic extensively, by the way.
right,
He shows this video every now and then in videos. And what this video shows, it shows this Hispanic woman who came to our country illegally, has
I know what
seven
we're talking
kids
about.
at our taxpayer had 7 kids at our taxpayers' expense. I believe it was 7 kids. Lives in government-funded housing, and gets food stamps and all kinds of other benefits. How does
Right.
that make our country better? Please, somebody
No.
tell me how that. Somebody on the left
No,
tell
it
me how that
doesn't.
makes our country better.
It does not in any capacity make our country better. No, it does not. Um,
Imagine how much of our tax dollars would have been saved if a CBP officer arrested her right there on the spot and sent her back.
yeah, exactly. That's a major thing. And also, let's not forget, if there is a system that allows people to get mooch off of the money and get free money, people would want to come in here more, right? If I heard, oh, there's free money in this place, I would love to go there
If I can
and
get if I can
game
get
the
in
system.
if I can get in successfully, I'll be able to game the system and get free money. That's what's going on
Right.
here, guys.
Right. And when that happens, right, the more they come in and the more people try mooching off the system, the more fraud there is. There's more
Yeah.
fraud, there's more gaming in the system and things like that. So that's how it's so correlated. It's so like
Mind if
carefully
I send you?
like knit together,
Josh,
but
you
no
got
one
a wrench,
Here's
acknowledges
the
G.
thing.
that.
Here's the thing. A system like welfare is an inherently dysgenic thing. It's inherently dysgenic. No matter what, like, I'm not gonna try to be racist here, but like,
Josh, buddy,
if you
you
have,
got a
regardless
wrench.
of what race,
You
let's
can
say,
share stuff
let's
on the
say you had a
chat, bud.
country that was 100% white, okay, and you had a really bloated welfare state in that country that was 100%
But seriously
white.
though, the whole
Because the thing
welfare
is, what
state
welfare
mismatch
does,
overstated its
welfare
bloody
punishes
welcome
success and rewards laziness. That's
years
dysgenic.
ago.
So even if you have like an all-white welfare state, eventually you're going to start having bad results. The lazy whites are going to start, you know,
Breaking down the people who are successful.
yeah, exactly. No matter what race the
Right.
country's
It
in,
doesn't.
that still happens.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. What's happening, guys? Well,
Purple. I mean,
now on top of that, guys, not only is welfare inherently dysgenic, our welfare system is specifically designed to be more dysgenic than that. On top of that, I believe that
yeah.
I believe it, at least at first it did something where like it promoted welfare to single mothers, which
Right.
is which is like horrendously more dysgenic than just a typical welfare state would be.
Right. The thing also to talk about is right
Thing
is if you have
it's
a
not a
person who's
link.
on
It's a
welfare, a person
compressed
who's
folder from
essentially
my
in the system
files.
like that, why are they
All
trying to
right,
leave
you
in the
can shoot
system
it to me
for?
via
They're getting
Discord.
free
I'll show it to
money.
Exactly.
I'll
Why
show
would
it to
they
the
leave?
fans.
So because of that, they stay
I
dependent
just
on the
need to open up
government.
Discord.
They want more government. They want more, a big, more bloated system that rewards people
Exactly,
through,
and that's what they vote for, guys. That's the problem here. They vote
exactly.
for
And,
that. They
right.
vote for
And
more
that, yeah.
government handouts. They vote for politicians who do stuff like that. It's ridiculous.
Right. That's exactly why I could make a
All
case
at
and
our
say,
expense. All at our
or
expense, and
yeah,
that's the worst part about it.
people who are on that welfare, the more people will vote Democrat. Because of course, if you don't vote Republican, you're gonna get a lot of cutbacks for welfare and things like that,
Things that
and all
need to
these
happen.
programs.
And guys, here's the thing. Now,
Okay,
what's
this is for the
happening, guys?
stream.
With welfare,
Like-
we're literally funding the destruction of our country with our own tax dollars. Like we're talking about here. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. bloating the system even more, costing us more, and choking the rest of us. It's going to come crashing down and destroy our country, and we're funding it with our own tax dollars.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, when you again think about this whole thing, right? If you have a system in place and you have these Democrats who you vote in, it is not going to do anything about the system like this.
Of course not.
Bang
Why
up job,
would they?
Chief.
Their voter base wants it. Off it. Why would you want
Well,
to take that
Dimension
away?
Brawl, aka
If you
Josh's
did, you'd
project,
be
it's like
hated by
Marvel
your own
vs.
base.
Capcom Infinite.
So of course Democrats not going to do anything about this. The
if
problem,
it were actually good,
fueling the fire and giving more and more to people who do not deserve it in the first place. This is like a catch-22. This is a repeating cycle that never ends.
It just gets worse and worse and worse until it comes crashing down, which it will. I'm telling you that right now, guys. It will come crashing down one way or another.
Right. And the thing is, right? Think about this, right? If you have out of touch immigration system and out of touch system for welfare and things like that and benefits and things similar to that nature, they go hand in hand. Where people come in without any accountability, money out of our taxpayer dollars. That's how they're closely related for. That's why, when you think about all the fraud that's going on, the over $1 billion, a lot of that is because of a bad immigration system and because people want to mooch off something that they know they'll be able to get away with without being held accountable or anything like that.
And guys, here's the thing. The demographics of our country are changing, and that is a very scary thing. And they're changing because of the welfare.
Now for that, everyone subscribe to Josh, like now.
In order to win. I've been getting really black-pilled lately, guys. We're just getting demographically raped so hard, and just within the country.
I think if anything, I think the whole problem is you have these Democrats trying to go and stonewall and you have Democrats who are trying to destroy us, and of course you have these Republicans who are going hand in hand with them. They have the same donors.
About it. Not being like, oh my God, this is going to destroy our country. We need to stop it now.
Unlike Infinite,
have these rhinos who are so against Trump and so against the whole all of our beliefs essentially, and people still vote them in.
Right.
That is pro-Trump. Barely anything. I cannot think of I can barely think of a Democrat that is for Trump.
I'll show off a few of the sets.
But on the other hand, you have all these Republicans, people who are supposed to be representing Trump and the MAGA agenda.
I see best Yu-Gi-Oh girl.
So many times.
I'm telling
on the
you
wall,
guys, the thing is,
everything.
If what President Trump has to do probably to win in 2020, if he doesn't do this, he's probably going to lose in 2020. Texas will go blue, and the American experiment will die. What he has to do is he has to fix the welfare state. That is the one thing, more than fixing the immigration system, more than building the wall. Oh, I think his base. If he wants them to vote for him, he has to build the wall at this point. That was a central campaign promise. If he builds the wall and fixes the welfare system, he will win in 2020. That's the thing, guys. What's going on? All these immigrants here who, like I said, most of them are going on welfare. I have the thing open right here on my screen that you can look at. What's happening,
looking at this graph that we have here, and it's something else, honestly.
If he does not fix the welfare state, more of them will come in, and eventually they'll be able to swing the election blue.
Just scroll down on the CIS report. Just scroll down. All of these graphs. Welfare use based on nativity of household head, by nativity, so 1 program at a time. And with children, without children, with at least one worker, based on origin of household head.
And guys, the thing is,
it goes on and on.
The reason that it refers to households, the reason
I think I'll just do the read aloud shtick.
QCB and ATKX2 Maiden's Wrath *, puts a hand encases in light energy near her face before she uses said hand to unleash a light carpet on the ground. On hit, foe is entrapped in the carpet, allowing Minerva to build up a ton of light energy around her, which eventually transitions into a beam of light that is blasted towards foe. Hard knockdown.
Well, you know what? I think I'm just gonna go back to the black pilling of the formerly Red Pill Dragon. Because this despair is actually kind of giving me life.
Talks about households is because an illegal alien who comes here isn't really eligible for welfare unless they
Well, now
have
go on the
kids
set, Chief.
at our expense. Then they are. Because of
It's too far,
retarded
though.
birthright citizenship, their kids will be given. Their kids are now eligible for welfare, and that enables the parents to be eligible for it too. That's the problem.
Yeah, so I'm looking at these percentages,
So
right?
just
You have
appeal the 19th.
non-citizen
Simple as
headed
that.
households. You have
It's the only way we can end this
4.3%
bloody
of
mess.
housing allotted to them. You know, Medicaid is 53.8%. The majority is non-citizen in Texas when it comes to Medicaid use. SNAP, 24.6%. For WIC, school lunch and breakfast, 41.7% for non-citizen households.
It's
just
not good,
looking
guys.
at facts.
This is
It's
a
just
disaster.
looking at facts. There's literally nothing but just looking at graphs and charts.
I can also make the drive folder for the sets public and link them here. Josh, you are doing God's work, dude. I'm actually impressed, man. Dude, you have a freaking wrench, Chief. So I suggest you do it now. And for each one, I'll show you my ideal voice actor. Alright? Alright. Click and bada boom, bada boom, bada boom, boom, boom. Alright, let's start with Aang. Josh. Are we going with old Aang or young Aang? Because I would go with the voice actor for young Aang, whose name kind of escapes me at the moment. And same with old Aang. Okay? Young Aang. So the same voice actor as in the Avatar show. Up next is Bane. Now, my brain is saying Fred Tatascody. My heart is saying JB Blanc. Now, press 1 for Tatascody, press 2 for Blanc, okay? Tatascody it is, then. Up next is Bean. Now, you're saying that you went with Tom Kenny, right? Well, I'm gonna go with Robbie Daymond. You know, the guy who voiced Prompto in Final Fantasy 15. Alright. Up next we got Brainiac. Now this one this is a no-brainer for me. I'm going with Jeffrey Combs. Change my mind. With Cassie Cage, it's the same. Ashley Birch. Now, Cell, it's kind of a tough one. I'd go with either Curtis Arnott, his voice in Dragon Ball Abridged, or Travis Willingham. Hum. Should I go with the obvious Team 4-star reference? Damian Clark? Frickin' Handsome Jack? Seriously, dude? You know what? Oh. Errors have been made. Fair enough. Now with Cervantes here, it's painfully obvious. That's who his voice actor should be. Patrick Seitz. Cloud, Steve Burton, Dante, Ruben Langdon, Dormammu, Robert Englund, Dragon, well, Jim Cummings. Duo, huh? Well, if we're gonna go for Damien as a Cell, I think we should go with Travis Willingham as Duo. Geese, Richard Epker, Gone, Erica Mendez. Hishinko, Hunter Mackenzie Austin, Jackie Tara Strong. Well, with Jason, he's a special case. Well, he will be voiced by Kane Hodder, don't get me wrong, but he'll just be doing the grunts and stuff. For Jeddah, it's David K. Jimmy, Milo, something or other. Yuri Lowenthal, Jessica Strauss, Carrie Kennigan, Travis Willingham. And since Travis already has one role as in this game, I'm going to go with Dan Green as Knuckles. Now, don't get the wrong idea. Ventimiglia, thank you. But Josh, I'm going with Dan Green as old Knucklehead. Kokoro, Heather Hogan, Jameson Price, Lacey Chabert, Aaron Fitzgerald. I think if this is Blaze Blue... Nope, wrong one. So, Mary Elizabeth McLean. Mark Swint, Jim Cummings, Jennifer Hale, Barbara Goodson, Richard Epker, I'm guessing. Yep. Greg Ellis, Kyle Hebert. Sokol. Rick Toscody, Kirk Thornton, David Hayter. But who the hell is Sokol? Steve Bloom as Dragon? Oh. Sokol would be voiced by Tom Kenny. Either that or the guy who voiced him in Payday 2. Roger Craig Smith, Keith David, Yuri Lowenthal, Tom Kenny, Sam Whitaker, TJ Storm, Cara Theobald, Bill Rogers, and Seki for Yoshimitsu. Ooh, this D though. As for the big bag Grappa, He'll be voiced by Frank Welker. Gotta take a break from the black pilling. You want to know why I picked Mr. Welker?
Recalibrating, accelerate, laserbeak, frenzy, ravage, Autobots, inferior, engage, for Megatron, buzzsaw, rumble, resume combat, go.
I'd go with Ogo, Dragon, and Minerva. Oh, and Dormammu. Because reasons.
Calculating, Bane, Autobot defenses failing, fail, worthless, miss, operation, retaliation, eject, all hail Megatron.
That's a funny way of pronouncing Soundwave. But speaking of, Megatron would kind of be Grappa's right hand in his multiverse conquest, which means we might see the return of Shockwave, also who will be voiced by Isaac Singleton Jr. You may have heard of him before. While Megatron will be voiced by Fred Tatask, will be voiced by Corey Burton, alongside Shockwave.
Clarity of thought before rashness of action.
As are we. Shockwave! What is your command, Megatron? You are to stay behind.
Oh, actually, a little fun fact. The writers for the original TV series actually wanted the dude who played Sark to voice this guy, but Corey Burton here did such a fantastic job with that they just stuck with it.
Who was that?
Sark, the MCP's number 2.
Tenacious little bugs. Your time is up. Prepare for de-resolution.
Parts. It's not hard to complicate. It's not complicated. Look at a graph, and look at a chart and percentages, and you see, by the way, this is a big problem. And if you fix the welfare state, let's say, people will be less inclined to come here.
The
system that's
most of
stricter.
them won't come here. That's the thing. Most of them won't come here. Trumpster, the cost of living in the U.S. is much higher than it is in Mexico. Keep that in mind. Without the welfare stuff, paying their living expenses, they simply won't be able to afford here, coming here, working under the table, stealing American jobs, and earning pennies on the dollar. They won't be able to afford it. That's the thing.
Right.
So they'll have to go back in order to not starve to death.
But that's a story for another day.
When people say that it doesn't when they get a job or whatever, it's good for them, does not affect Americans at all, and that they're better qualified. I don't care if they're better qualified. you're taking jobs away from people who are here the right way, the people who should be having jobs. Every job an illegal person gets, that's one less job for an American citizen.
Mm-hmm.
So we should be not, we should be basically putting our own citizens first. Jobs. Many homeless people. We still have a homeless problem. We have opioid crisis. We have so many problems in our country. Let's focus on Americans first, domestically. Let's get rid of this bloated welfare state. Let's make sure we hold people accountable when they're
Voiced by
frauds.
James Marsters.
That's simple.
Of
It
course.
should not be anything complicated. Like it's literally not controversial or anything.
And Josh,
Yet people are gonna, but yet these Democrats
would you mind
somehow
doing me a
want a
solid
bloated
and going
system,
with
and
his,
they want a
looking,
system
Because it keeps people voting for them.
go with his cyber Zamasu.
Using
because
our
if you have
tax
this system,
dollars.
if you place, you will have people who are more dependent on government assistance, more dependent on government. That means you have to have more Democrat voters, and that is just facts. Honestly, if that was my main source of income, it wants to take it away. Do that for. That's literally the whole of welfare a lot of times, right? Yeah, these people who just keep taking from there and vote Democrat because they know they'll keep getting more.
This,
if they vote
guys, is why
Democrats.
we say taxation is theft. Taxation is absolutely theft, and this is why. People living off of the government like parasites at my expense. How is that not theft? The government is forcibly confiscating my hard-earned money and giving it to someone who did not earn it and possibly shouldn't even be here.
Not even here the right way. Yeah, it was not even here the right way. Exactly. About it, right? Giving it to some random person who snuck across the border without going through the right channels and does not deserve it in any way imaginable. Helps. All I know is it should be going to some people who need it, for domestic citizens who came here the right way, who are legally citizens, who are not trespassers or foreign invaders. I believe it. You guys can agree or disagree, but that is just that is just common sense. It's not controversial. It's not complicated. No one should be debating this.
It shouldn't be any of that, but it is, unfortunately.
Right. Exactly. You said also about if you fix immigration, you fix welfare also. If you fix welfare, you fix immigration. It's a really hand in hand problem, right?
Yeah.
Well, Trump's if you try to fix immigration without fixing welfare, they're going to keep coming in. Even if you build the wall, they're still going to try to keep coming in. That's the problem. You have
they'll
to
keep
fix
trying
welfare.
to get in.
You have
to do something to mellow out.
With all the stress and pressure involved, the life of a programmer is never an easy one. So how do these poor souls vent their frustration in an anxious world? Well, buried in the code of countless video games, quite possibly the one you're even playing right now, are the rants and rages of a programmer who never thought anyone would ever discover his anger. In fact, these outbursts have been so prolific, I've had to split this video into 3 episodes. This episode is dedicated to British-developed games, who love to complain about everything. We'll also be looking at US...
Including... Yeah, also big shout out to my British moveset making brother from another mother, King of Fiction. And Josh, you have a wrench, and be sure to link King's profile in this chat so I can link it in the description so that everyone can know the greatness that is King of Fiction. It's sick that he doesn't have more watchers. It makes me sick.
Games who love to complain about co-workers and management. And finally, to Japanese programmers, whom you don't even want to know what they rage about. But, hello you, I'm Guru Larry, and I welcome you to Fact Hunt, Top 5 Hidden Pissed Off Programmer Rants, UK edition.
Thank you, John.
Our first entry goes to Tysoft's 1990 PC adaptation of the Eddie Murphy classic Beverly Hills Cop. It's one of those old school type of movie licenses that prefers to go for the let's stick a bunch of not very good minigames together to emulate scenes from the movie approach, which was the in thing to do at the time, even if it did make the game total arse in hindsight. But at least it's got my favourite scene from the movie, where Eddie Murphy infiltrates a warehouse and walks around kicking people in the bollocks. Oh, and by the way, the Axel Foley thing playing at the moment is actually from the Amiga version of the game. Mainly as a PC rendition is so awful, it sounds like someone trying to strangle an ice cream van.
Ah, my ear hole! Jesus, mother of God!
See what I mean?
Rest in peace, everybody's ear holes.
Buried in the PC version's game code, our number 5 nominee, Gary Partis, wouldn't agree with me over my decision, as he seems to be a bit of a PC fanboy, with a special hatred towards Amiga and Atari ST programmers for some strange reason.
If ST Amiga programmers think they are so great, how come all the ones I've come across are spineless, pathetic excuses for human beings? Bye bye for now.
Ironic really, as the Atari ST and Amiga ports of Beverly Hills Cop actually are vastly superior to the PC version. But it's nice to see one of the first ever examples of the PC master race.
Commodore Amiga.
Quite possibly the most obscure title on our list, yes, even by my standards, our next entry goes to Electronic Zoo's Amiga port of Eco Phantoms. You play the role of a space courier who returns to Earth after a 6-year-long delivery job, only to discover in your absence an alien race known as the Eco Phantoms have taken over the planet and have harvested all its resources, leaving the Earth a giant husk. So feeling triggered by this tyranny, you steal one of their ships, which you have no idea how it works to begin with, and plan to reverse all the mining equipment, liberate the aliens' biodome slave factories, and restore what little is left of the Earth. While it sounds like an action game, it's really a strategy management sim, having to use robots to do the majority of your work, etc., with the odd dungeon crawl for good measure. It's a pretty unique concept still though, even by today's standards. Anyhow, it appears the game went through development hell, especially the Amiga port, as the original programmer walked out, and his replacement, Jeremy Sherlock, was rather less than impressed by his predecessor's professionalism and programming skills, which he states in a file on Disc 1 of the game.
Written by Toby Simpson and Jeremy Sherlock, it must be said that Richard Costas was the original programmer along with Toby on this project, but because Ricky walked out and I took over from him, rewriting a lot of his shit and badly written, unprofessional and ridiculously long-winded code, and the fact that this was only half finished, I have decided not to include this fat git in the credits for this game. Signed, Jez.
He goes on to say, I will credit Richard Costas with the blame for a lot of hassle, stress, late nights, and my hatred for the twat. So...
Wait, I don't have their mutually sustained hate voter for the guy. Josh asks, what do you think of the concept of the Eco Phantoms? I hate to be the party foul here, but I haven't been blessed with the opportunity to play that game.
A case of Sherlock moans then, hey? Hey? Look, strategy games are a black hole for coming up with comedy. I did try my best.
Moving on! ZX Spectrum.
Third position goes to Ocean's 1991 game adaptation of the movie adaptation, of the TV adaptation, of the comic strip, The Addams Family, for the ZX Spectrum. Strangely, this is the third of 3 almost completely different platform games Ocean created for the first film, all at the same time, with the Specky port being heavily influenced by Jet Set Willy of all things. But as with the other versions, it's actually a pretty decent game, arguably one of the best ever movie licenses in fact. However, such a glorious accolade wouldn't have cheered up Andrew Deakin, the programmer for the Spectrum version, as he seems to be ever so slightly peeved off about someone who had recently broken into his car or house.
Car thieves and burglars, who are the scum of this earth, should all be hanged. What I want to know is, how do the scum manage to steal cars and rob houses when they haven't got a brain? There is no justification for crime.
Andrew then goes on to suggest homicide as a solution.
If someone breaks into your house or tries to steal your car, you should have the right to shoot them dead, as they are no more use to society than a rabid dog. I pay taxes to stop scum dying in the streets, and then they come round and steal my possessions. Now there's gratitude for you. The scum are trying to bring this country down to their level of depravity. Please, don't let them succeed.
This guy was basically the Yuri Bezmenov of gaming. My point is, he was right on the ball.
Unfortunately, Mr. Deakin never revealed if the culprits were caught or if he ever got his stuff back. But hopefully, the poor sod earned enough from the royalties from the game. Unless Ocean ripped him off as well. Runners-up position goes to the enhanced Amiga port of Jurassic Park. Again, an Ocean title. Man, the times they've shown up, might as well rename the show Ocean Hunt. But it plays like a slightly more polished version of the most excellent Super Nintendo port, though they still forgot to put in a bleeding save feature in it. But even for heavily commercialised products, games programs take a certain pride in their work. So when a pirate comes along, hacks out all their copy protection and prints off thousands of illegitimate versions, they can get a little hostile, as one of them left this rather angry message to whatever cracker would ever stumble upon it.
Message to fag shite and paraplegic and all the other dickheads. Better luck this time. Try and remove more than that 20% of the protection this time, you useless cunts. Isn't it time you stopped pulling your dicks and left your bedrooms and got a real job?
Unfortunately, said sweary person would rather remain anonymous as they never credited themselves. But considering only 4 programmers worked on the game, Andy Meyer, Robert Walker, no not that one, Leslie Long or David Chills, one of these people was a little fragile about their baby falling into the hands of evil.
I don't blame him. Definitely. Final fight on the Commodore Amiga.
You probably saw this coming, but where else could I possibly put the guy I've been mentioning constantly these past few episodes of Fact Hunt? No, not Peter Molyneux, but Richard Mad as a Hatter Applin, the absolute master of rants in British video games. He may be rather unheard of by today's standards, but Richard is legendary in the world of hidden programmer rants. Nearly every single game he has ever worked on literally has diaries worth of rants in them. From complaining about not being able to go to a computer show in Shinobi, to rewriting the lyrics to Pink Floyd's The Wall as a riddle to one of the most convoluted Easter eggs in history in Double Dragon. It gives you infinite lives and lets you play as a Bobo, in case you were wondering. Bobo's Big Adventure is 20 years too late to claim that accolade. Now, I could dedicate an entire video to this guy, but for time constraints here, I'm going to focus this segment on one of his escapades that goes so far that it actually breaks out into the game itself. Final Fight for the Commodore Amiga. Richard is another of those programmers tired of crackers ripping their games immediately. But rather than hurl obscenities at them, Rich just makes fun of them instead, like mocking their infamous Cracktro intros.
Okay, remember Line of Fire? Here we go again, crackers, fill in the blanks. type, loads of pointless ANSI codes and whizzy animated bits. Blank of Blank presents the latest in Hot Juarez. Final fight, plus 14,925%. Cracked, trained, knobbed up and half-parted by the amazing Blank. Call our UK HQ on blank-blank for 1.4 terabytes of Juarez stored on Sinclair Microdrive, online 25 hours a minute, 75-19.2 gigabaud.
I've had to cut Richard's rampant piss-taking as it goes on for another 5 minutes. But he later starts to make fun of the Crackers' own fanboy-like diatribes in their intros.
And I actually saw Andrew Braybrook at the PC show, and he actually spoke to me, and we had this should have written it, which irritated him. I soundtrack him.
So he goes on a list of games he's programmed at the time, items he can see in his office, yes, being mugged, though he just laughs it off rather than wanting to shoot the culprit, unlike the other fellow, despite receiving several stitches, before finally hoping that he can work on some Super Famicom titles soon. Which really shows the age of this piece. The Super Nintendo didn't even have a name then. But what's this Sheriff Fatman into the title screen gives you unlimited lives. But also this unskippable diatribe of Rich. But in all honesty, despite this video being about rants, out of all of them, reading through his hidden messages, Rich generally comes across as a really nice guy. And in case you're wondering what happened to Richard Applin, he now lives in San Francisco where he still programs, just now more for server mainframes. But he still occasionally does the odd iOS and Android game. Hello, you. Thanks ever.
Nope, not going through that ear rape again. Now we go to the American side of the pond.
You know, I'm sort of getting a hint that some of you want a follow-up episode. Well, I'm sorry that I may have kept you waiting longer than Peter Molyneux's barber appointment, but the US edition of Hidden Pissed Off Programmers is finally here. A quick recap for people who haven't seen the previous episode. Video game programmers get angry, passively aggressively rant about whatever grievances they have by burying it in the game's code, but then never expect anyone to actually uncover it. Then some arsehole digs it up several years later and makes a top 5 video about it so he can pour out views and ad revenue. Last time we looked at British bitterness in game code, and in the next episode we'll be looking at all the Japanese jowling. But this episode is entirely dedicated to the coders from the land of the rising apple pie, with agitated Americans. So grab some popcorn and sit back and watch the rage unfold, as I say, but hello you. I'm Guru Larry, and I welcome you to Fact Hunt. Top 5 Pissed Off Programmer Rants, USA Edition. We'll start today's episode with a midway double bill. The arcade version of Arch Rivals and Robotron 64 for the Nintendo 64. Something a certain ranter will have issues with later on in this video. Now, poor old Arch Rivals doesn't get too much love in this day and age, but it's an over-the-top 2-on-2 arcade basketball game, where rules flew out of the window as far as insane slam dunks. And if that sounds familiar, well, it should do, as Arch Rivals is essentially Midway's precursor to the all-time classic NBA Jam series. Though admittedly, the controls play like complete arse by today's standards. Anyhow, if you were to somehow break into the game's code, a very aggressive staff member will inform you of the game's copyright, with
Copyright 1989, Midway Manufacturing Company, manufacturers of Bally Amusement Games. All rights reserved. So fuck off.
Charming. But speaking of
Oh, the realm never changed. That would be Duke
we also have to
Nukem.
mention Robotron 64, the prototype for Smash TV. I'll buy that for about $1 at Sears. But Midway were way ahead of their time in 1997 with one of the first of the now endless bloody 3D remakes that cashed in on a nostalgia with Robotron 64. Unfortunately, whoever programmed the game's nostalgia was permanently stuck in the past, along with their maturity, when they secretly hid the lines,
"Fucked up poohead. Fucked up poohead." Another list bites the dust.
So there you go. 2 short but sour profanities courtesy of Midway. Kinda like their business. He may does whatever a spider can. 4th place goes to Spider. Our angry coder in question today seems to bear quite a grudge with another programmer by the name of Matt Duncan. Here he is being silly on a skateboard.
Bots on Mysterio. Now how in the hell did this happen? Unknown state. No Mysterio. Fire Matt. Soft spot. Soft eyes. Fire Matt after kicking him decidedly in the nutsack.
Then starts threatening violence on his Rhino modelling.
Fire Matt. He fucked up the Rhino XA. Actually, kick him in the nuts first. Unknown difficulty level. What in the name of God above?
Before all-out pleading to terminate poor old
God
Matt.
above.
Not enough slots. Fire Matt. What the hell? Unknown impact web XA. Shit! Base is scaling to 0. Fire Matt! Should never get here. Demote Matt immediately. Who's been smoking crack today? Fire Matt immediately, please.
Now, before you all get triggered by this apparent spate of office bullying, don't worry, the angry coder was actually Matt himself writing all that mean stuff. Why? Well, maybe he was trying to get himself fired and knew that the writing was on the wall for Neversoft as their fate was being demoted to making those endless crappy Guitar Hero sequels. Alright, 10 years is some incredible foresight, but I'm still including that joke as I couldn't think of anything else to end this segment with. I'll get me coat. Don't worry, I've not desperately tried to prolong another segment by doubling up 2 more games as our rant was a bit short and, well, crap. No, far from it. This tirade is the exact same one that appears in 2 games. Hot Wheels Velocity X and The Hobbit for the Game Boy Advance. No, I've never heard of them either. Now, it's not surprising to see the concealed rage of a programmer desperately crying for help hidden in shovelware that no one ever bought. But this one is rather unique, as rather than a rant, it's a rather off-colour story about 200 dead monkeys. Whoever stuck this story in the code didn't even create it either. This almost viral-like tale stems back to the early days of the internet, when friends used to spam you chain letter anecdotes thinking they're like some sort of comic genius, until you block them. So it's the 90s equivalent of Facebook in that regards. Anyhow, I'm not sure what the coder's intention was to include it, but they obviously thought they would use up the remaining cartridge space on their games by sticking in a tired old meme starring a bicentennial of deceased primates.
I like monkeys. I like monkeys. The pet store was selling them for 5 cents a piece. I thought that odd since they were...
Wait, what? That's Mr. Metekor! That's freaking Mr. Metekor, isn't it? I'd know that voice anywhere.
Normally a couple thousand each. I decided not to look a gift horse in the mouth. I bought 200. I like monkeys. I took my 200 monkeys home. I have a big car. I let one drive. His name was Sigmund. He was retarded. In fact, none of them were really bright. They kept punching themselves in their genitals. I laughed. Then they punched my genitals. I stopped laughing. I herded them into my room. They didn't adapt very well to their new environment. They would screech, hurl themselves off the couch at high speeds, and slam into the wall. Although humorous at first, the spectacle lost its novelty. They all died. No apparent reason. They all just sort of dropped dead. Kind of like when you buy a goldfish and it dies 5 hours later. Damn cheap monkeys. On the bed, flush one down the toilet. Dead monkey and 199 dead. That is until they began to decompose. It started to smell real. I was embarrassed. I tried to slow down, so I had to change them every 30 seconds. Little did I know my bed was toilet, 2 dead frozen monkeys in my freezer, and 197 dead charred monkeys in a pile on my bed. The odor wasn't to use the bathroom. I severely beat one of the city wasn't allowed to dispose of charred primates. I told him that I had a wet one. He couldn't take the pollution. I gave them out as Christmas gifts. They were lying. And greats. So I punched them in the genitals. I like monkeys.
God damn it.
So there you have it. A hidden story about 200 dead monkeys.
Jim! Are you trying to get PETA after me?
That's more entertaining and memorable than the games they're burned on.
I actually have this game, funnily enough, I have this game on PC.
Everybody mind your marks. Action!
Ah, come on. You didn't think this list would be entirely comprised of retro games, did you? Well, yeah, it actually comes as a surprise to me too. But it proves even modern-day programmers can be perturbed once in a while. And none other than Lab Zero's most excellent fighter, Skullgirls, proves this, thanks to a rather vexed Cody leaving notes in the game. Now our second place entry begins with Lab Zero starting to implement DLC characters into the game. But they weren't quite going according to plan.
Eliza looks up. God, Eliza, stop doing so much illustrated shit, seriously.
Hey, Alicia's best girl.
I fucking pray this shit actually works for fucking once. My live blog right here. If this works on the first try, I'll eat my hat. My hat being this matcha Pocky that I got for free from Anime Expo 2 days ago. And live blog. I want Pocky, but this matcha Pocky was kind of weird. I hope this works. It didn't. Now it does. This shit didn't work. Goodbye hours of work. Hello bullshit.
Now,
bruh. Hey, Alicia's best girl. Well, DLC. But, best girl in the main roster, Valentine. Change my mind, people.
if Eliza didn't vex this coder enough, he goes all out savage on Big Band, as well as the game's user interface, by the name of Otter.
Why is there a fucking hiccup here? Fuck you. Fuck. This is literally the stupidest shit. I fucking can't believe that we can't load fucking textures on the fly without having the screen warp to load things. This is literally unbelievable. What is the fucking point of having common cutscenes if they don't fucking work? Fucking kill everyone. What the shit is this? This is the shittiest. Fuck. Fucking can't believe Otter can't render the shit properly. Jesus Christ. Fuck you, Otter. Fuck.
Josh says, I'm so sorry in advance for this cluster app. I'm too busy laughing to care.
Why does it revert to a previous animation here? Stop! Fuck you! Stop fucking reverting back to a previous shot, you piece of shit. Fuck you, Otter.
Zero Labs once claimed it cost them over $250,000 to add a single extra character into Skullgirls. It's just a shame they didn't install a swear jar into the office, as they could have got them in for free.
I'm going to go to the bathroom because I'm going to miss myself laughing in a minute. And I'm back, boys. Amiga OS and Tetris.
Yeah, in any other situation, Skullgirls would easily have taken number 1.
Yeah?
But I had to give top slot to the 2 most famous hidden rants of them all. The first ever recorded rant, hidden on the Commodore Amiga's operating system, and obviously the most famous one of all, the new Tetris for the Nintendo 64. Now, the Amiga's story is a simple tale. The Amiga development team created the most powerful system on the market, at least for 1987, then sold the company to Commodore, who managed to not only completely arse up marketing the system, but also push every publisher, bar EA, to concentrate on developing games on the Atari ST instead. So out of sheer anger towards marketing's incompetence, they left a not-so-subtle comment about Commodore's treatment of their baby. So by pressing both Shift keys, both Alt keys and F10 all at the same time, reveals the line,
"We made Amiga. They fucked it up."
across the ribbon at the top of the screen. Unsurprisingly, Commodore were livid about this message, decided that the programming team were ungrateful and promptly fired a majority of them, but not before demanding they remove the line from the next firmware update. They didn't. They just made it harder to find. But speaking of people leaving companies, we come to the new Tetris and the late great David Preedy. Now, Dave was about to leave the developer H2O Entertainment to work for the 3DO company. So, out of lack of consequence and, fuck itness, decided to bury deep into the code his sheer resentment towards the game's producer, Don McClure.
Get out of our code, you filthy hackers, bitches. No one else did dick fuck all for code, so shut your fucking traps. I must say, this was a fun time coming down to San Francisco to do the new Tetris. Although there are a few problems. First of all, being our...
Before we move on to Weebland's rants, I want to ask you something. Yeah, press F for David Pride, but whatever the case. I want to ask you something, Josh. Who's your Skullgirls waifu? And if you say Peacock, I'm going to frickin' chokeslam you.
Producer, Don, my god. Is this guy useless or what? I don't hate you, Don, but you suck! And I mean suck as a producer. You should go back to testing video games. But I doubt you could even manage that properly. I feel sorry for you. During this project, you just sat around and played video games. StarCraft and EverQuest. Don't even deny that. So Don, I must say this. Hold on to and fake your job while you can, because once they find out how truly useless you are, you will be out of a job. I cannot think of any skill set you would fit into in this industry.
It's squiggly?
So you better hold on tight.
Not content with just bashing Don, he goes on to list his 56 most hated things in life, such as the rather racist,
the huge complex hairdos on African American women, 5 layers, 6,000 curls, 4 sprouting areas, 200 dangling bits, 6,000 beads, air conditioning, and enough hairspray in it that it wouldn't move if Hurricane George hit it.
Then ironically flip-flopping with
racist people and the crap they spew out.
And showing this rant is straight out of the 90s with qualms such as
those stupid ad banners from GeoCities on the internet when you hit someone's homepage going through them.
And
cheap-ass manufacturers of DVDs who list as features, chapters, interactive menus, and the time. Those aren't features. That's like calling your computer's keyboard a feature. Lame-ass marketing people.
Before following up with a good old-fashioned rant against Nintendo themselves.
Nintendo and everything about them.
I don't have Dave's mutually sustained hate boner for Nintendo. Well, it's more of a disappointment boner, but yeah, you get the drift.
And
how on the N64 game machine, half the damn titles for it are called Miscellaneous Video Game 64. Why not come up with a real name? Why is everyone just slapping a 64 on all the games?
But after posting several pieces of ASCII art and feeling confident that his rant would never be discovered, David concluded with,
"This text, if it is ever read, is intended to be read by hackers who have dumped the contents of this ROM and viewed it. That is all it is for, and maybe some of them will remember me from the Commodore 64 and PC days, martial artist of PE, DDT, Razor, 911, Inc., FLT, TRN, FBR. I was in all of them, and I made trainers and intros mostly. I thank that scene for teaching me how to program, because without it, I don't think I would be where I am today."
If David was hoping this vitriol would never be discovered, he was surely mistaken. After the game's launch, it took a grand total of 3 days for it to be discovered and uploaded to the internet. Once Nintendo found out, they were absolutely furious about such a vile thing hidden in a first-party title. They never hired H2O ever again, recalled all the US copies of the game and replaced them with unranty versions instead. So, just like the hidden hot coffee data in the PS2 version of GTA San Andreas, it was a completely pointless excursion, as 99.9% of people who bought the game would never know it was there to begin with. But as for David, well, he sadly may no longer be with us, but he attained immortality. We're not only the most epic hidden rant in gaming history, but also the one that started the entire ball rolling for rant hunting in general. So, rest in peace, David. Your trolling of co-workers will forever be your legacy.
Indeed. Now, excuse me. Josh, can you list some reasons why Squiggly is your waifu? I'll be right back. I'm back and no reasons. Oh well. Now we go from Merca to Weebland.
What's that? The Japanese edition of Hidden Pissed Off Programmer Rants is here already? Well, it's better than nothing. Sorry, Molyneux's having a rest this week, and Inafude is long overdue. But for those of you tuning in for the first time, this series is dedicated to begrudged game programmers, frustrated by co-workers, their bosses, or life in general, and passively aggressively leaving angry rants in video game code, assuming no one would ever find them. Oh wait, I did. We've already covered bitter Brits and affronted Americans in previous episodes, so this episode is dedicated to the exasperations of during Japanese developers. So, for one final time in this tirade trilogy, I say, but hello you, I'm Guru Larry, and I'll welcome you to Fact Hunt, Top 5 Pissed Off Hidden Programmer Rants, Japan Edition.
Alright, let's see what the mood is. Or NES if you're an Americana.
Loosely based on SNK's arcade game TNK3, Iron Tank, The Invasion of Normandy, was a 100% historically accurate recreation of World War II, as depicted by the Nazis' use of drone missile attacks and the Second World War being entirely won by a single Allied tank. Or at least it would have been accurate had it not fallen to Nintendo's usual bout of 80s censorship. As we don't want to trigger the Germans now, do we? Even if ironically it only ever came out in Australia in the PAL regions. Anyhow, it seems that the overzealous censorship wasn't the only thing that Nintendo were good at annoying people with. Iron Tank's programmer, one Yukio Kaneda, seemed particularly miffed at the big end, judging by his rather coarse choice of words hidden in the game code.
This is the programmer, KNT. Those idiots at Nintendo are fucking assholes. Die. Go bankrupt. I hate the Famicom. That idiot Mr. T, he fucking killed it.
Now, I don't know what issues Yukio had with everyone's favourite full pitier, but I'm sure Mr. T had much better things to do than to develop arcade ports of Japanese consoles. That or it happened on a particularly boring episode of the A-Team.
I facepalm at the fool! Oh, by the by, little fun fact. Mr. T was actually born on the mean streets of the south side of Chicago. Just, little fun fact.
Well, here's one for the books. Our first ever MSX game on Fact Hunt. For those of you who have never heard of this game before, Gold Cave was a 1986 hard-as-nails side-scrolling shmup, originally made for the Sega SG-1000.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Although when it comes to waifus and skullgirls, I go with Valentine, hands down.
And later ported to the MSX. There was also a homebrew port for the Coleco in 2012 as well, but that's not really relevant. Anyhow, while Gold Cave is the first MSX game on our list, its hidden rant harks back to our British programmers episode, as it's all about ranting about those scummy hacking pirates. And this one comes from a particularly angry coder, fuming after a hacker had the audacity to call him.
I got a call earlier from some guy who copied one of our ROMs. But what kind of software dev would be happy to hear someone pirated their game? Idiot. When I see people like that, I just want to punch them. Hey person reading this, don't you copy our games either. What the hell are they thinking? Those idiot pirates.
Friggin' family stuff. Moving on with this.
Now, in all fairness, you have to be a particularly stupid hacker if you ring up the company and tell them that you did that. So getting a punch would have been the least of their worries here.
Ah! Ah! It's fine. It's fine.
Made in the days when pachinko machines were cancelled and then turned into video games, I'd like the opposite today. Our third position goes to Toshiba's 1985 Famicom game, Pachicom. I have to be careful how I say that. Quite possibly the most boring thing could ever make into a video game. And this is during a decade when companies were publishing lawnmower simulators. Anyhow, Pachicom's publisher, Toshiba, felt like they could go the extra mile of annoyance by requesting the addition of those annoying bleepy 8-bit noises to the game, scrapping all the hard work of actual digitised pachinko machine sound effects the audio team had developed and even included in the game code. So, rather perturbed by this bizarre demand, they left a friendly little letter to Toshiba in the code.
I'm saying what I want from here on in. Mr. Galhara from JPM Planning does absolutely nothing but give me all sorts of crap anyway. Shut up, you idiot. You retards say one thing, then something else later all the time. I worked all night working on what you told me to do. Don't say to me, it was better before. Who the hell do you think is going to play this with its boring bonus stage of the balls that get stuck? If you use select to put the joy right, that'll make it +1, you idiot! You're a sound company. Quit ignoring pachinko sounds and trying to put these weird sounds in instead. Do you want it to be this hard to hear the balls? I've left the previous sounds, so edit this if you want to hear it. Set hex address AFFC to 1FAF and AFC4 to E0E1 can tell you what good sound is.
Luckily, this story concludes with a happy ending, as when Pachicom was re-released on the Famicom Disk System 3 years later, the digitised sound effects were finally added, and the angry note was nowhere to be seen. So it's a good old case of the squeaky wheel gets the grease here.
Next we got Ganso Sayuki, Super Monkey Daiboken.
Ganso Sayuki, Super Monkey Daiboken, aside from having a really annoying title for someone with a robonised gob, is a Famicom game based on the Journey to the West tale, just like every other bloody Japanese property has been for the last 3 decades.
Yeah. Why am I not surprised?
Now, the game is renowned for its incredibly high difficulty. I mean, just look at it playing here. But it wasn't the only thing getting hard, as evident by the game's graphic tile set with Kaoru Nakajima's rather pervy message.
Designer Kaoru Nakajima, 26 years.
Now, I did look up Kaoru Nakajima, mainly to insert some sort of "he never worked again" gag here. But it turns out he was most recently the character designer on the Wii U and 3DS editions of Super Smash Bros. So whoever said being a creep never got you anywhere in life?
Really? Erika Tosite. No, you mean...
If ever a game deserved first place spot, it would be Namco's Erika and Satoru's Dream Adventure, with quite possibly the most convoluted way to ever access an Easter egg in the history of gaming. I mean, seriously, those overly complicated Call of Duty zombie Easter eggs ain't gotten out on this. So whoever this guy was who absolutely despised all of his co-workers really didn't want anyone uncovering it easily. For those of you out there in internet land who have never heard of this game, and I'm guessing it's nearly all of you, Erika and Satoru's Dream Adventure was a Japanese exclusive 2-player adventure game, starring a brother and sister who are sent on a quest by a talking cat to locate a crown that could control time and space. Now, if you thought the story was completely screwed up, Wait till you hear how to access the Angry Diatribe. First of all, you need to complete the game, which is a good 12 hours of game time to start with. Then, on the end screen, let it sit for 18 minutes until the screen goes black and white. Then wait another 18 minutes for the screen to go sepia. Then wait another 55 minutes for the music to stop. As soon as that happens, immediately hold down A, B, start, select and left on the first controller and A, B and right on the second. All at the same time. Some music will now play to let you know if you've got it right. Then hold down B, select and right on the first pad, B, right and down on the second for a new tune to start. Wait for this tune to end, then immediately hold down A, B and up on the first controller. Then wait another 18 minutes, and this rant finally appears on screen.
That's a nostalgic song playing. Those were good times. Meanwhile, who the hell are these people with this project? I'm so glad it's over. You think it's nothing but good memories? Hell no. Let's use this space to give out some thanks. First off, Kaora Agura, who ran off with some guy in the middle of the project. Yes, you bastard. Don't show up at the office without showering after having sex 6 times the previous night. Next, Tatsuya Ohashi. Yes, you bastard. Don't gimme your flippant shit. Coming in late on the day we ship the ROM like nothing's amiss. You can give me all the porn you want. I'm not forgetting that one. All that fucking weight you put on. No wonder you paid out 18,000 yen and still got nothing but a kiss out of it. Kenji Takano, Namco debugger. You are a part-timer. Don't dick around with the project planner. And finally, Kiyoharu Goto, the biggest thorn to my side in this project. Yes, you bastard. Once I get a time machine, I'm sending you back to the Edo period. Go do your riddles over there. Ah, that's a load off. Wait, no, it's not. Kiyoharu Goto, yes, you bastard. Ah! Just disappear already!
Their reactions just told the entire
Absolutely bizarre how one of the most insanely labyrinthine and aggressive Easter eggs of all time isn't more well known in the video game world. But Erika and Satoru's dream adventure definitely deserves more recognition here. Well, that and its programmer deserves a raise for putting up with all that crap.
I certainly don't envy that guy.
Hello, you.
Jesus Christ. I'm gonna go apologize to Mom. I'll be right back. Alright, now that that crap's done and dusted, let's get back to the blackpilling.
Have to fix welfare in order to fix immigration.
Yeah, exactly.
Fixing immigration without fixing welfare will have less of an effect than the other way around.
Right, because think about that, right? If you have a wall, they can still try to come in because of that bad system. But
They
if
know
you have
even if there's a wall, they know if they can somehow get over the wall and make it in without getting arrested by CBP or ICE, then they'll be able to live off of our government like parasites. That's what
exactly.
they know coming in here, guys.
If you fix the system, they will not come here as much. Why do they want to come here for, right? There's not free money. There's not any of that stuff. It's much more accountable. Ability, more calling out these frauds for what they are. But that's just it's a really important point that no one's talking about, honestly.
I wish Vince of the
Just
Red
talking
Elephants
about
would
it.
talk about it more, to be honest. He keeps talking about wanting to fix the immigration system rather than fixing the welfare system, but he talks about both, sort of. But, guys, if you don't fix welfare, immigration will not be able to be fixed as easily. It will not have as much of an effect if you fix immigration without fixing welfare. Because they will keep trying to come in. They'll dig tunnels, they'll try to fly in, they'll try to get over the wall, they'll try to go around the wall if they can. They're going to try to get in if you don't fix the welfare system, plain and simple.
Yeah. And again, they will try as much as they can, and honestly, I do want a wall, but I want welfare fixed too. Those two systems need to be fixed ASAP. And there's a lot of problems with them, but we have to have people who actually address those problems and fix them. If he fixes them, that's really great. That's good for us. That's good for people who want accountability and actual when it comes to how the whole system works. Subject.
What did you say?
Nothing
You
else.
guys want to add to that? I mean,
If nothing else
it's
was learned, it's that game programmers
simple. We gotta fix. I hope
it
it gets fixed. Honestly, I really hope it gets fixed.
And guys, another way that welfare is extremely dysgenic is that it promotes having more kids and having them be dependent on the system. Like, it's literally designed. If you keep having more kids, you get more money out of welfare. How is that not dysgenic in every imaginable way? You're literally having more kids who are now going to be more dependent on the welfare system, more Democrat voters, more welfare users, who are also going to pop out a bunch of kids and be... It's just... this system...
It's an endless cycle. It's an endless cycle. It never ends. It does not end.
It ends when the whole thing comes crashing down and it destroys our country.
Yeah.
Much.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I agree. Once this whole system comes crumbling down, it's game over, my friends. Everything's gonna turn blue, the Democrats will win for eternity, and the West is pretty much dead on arrival.
Pretty much. Fortunate, but that's just how it is. People always try fixing and scamming the system because of free money and all that stuff like that. And if it totally gets fixed, this isn't becoming a more problem. More Democrats just do not have our best interests at heart.
Guys, our country needs to change its attitude towards doing this. If you come to a hospital and you can't afford the thing and you don't have health insurance, you get turned around. Okay? That's how it should be. I don't care if you die, you get turned around. You don't leech off of the government like a parasite for it. You don't have the government or the hospital paying and drive up the cost for everyone else. If you can't afford it and you don't have health insurance, you die. And I'm okay with that at this point.
Yeah, but you're very black-pilled.
Yes, I am very black-pilled, Trumpster, at this point. Like, the way that I'm looking at it, Trumpster, at this point is... Either we rip the Band-Aid off now, let a bunch of people die who are just leeching off of the rest of us like parasites, and be done with it. Or, we just keep going until the whole thing comes crashing down, and then a ton more people die. I prefer the first way. I don't think there's a way to fix this without letting people die at this point.
Yeah, either by gun.
I think the majority.
Disease.
The majority of it was through Snap and stuff like that. But again, it's a very complex problem. So it's kind of it'll be solved in one day or in like one thing like that. It's taking a lot of time and a lot of just getting people accountable one by one by one by one. it's definitely think there's. I'm not really sure honestly, but I can say if we're just leeching on the system and they need medical assistance and they just keep taking and taking and taking, and
It
they keep
drives up
bringing
the
up
cost for the
costs.
rest of us. That's the problem. Trumpster, there used to be a time in our country where you could walk into a surgeon's office, get a surgery, and be able to pay for it out of pocket and not think much of it. That's not the case anymore because of this.
I mean, I don't know. The thing I think about, right, is how long does it take for it to fix? How long will it take until our country gets fixed all this type of stuff?
They just need to
20
shrink
years?
down the welfare
Never?
system. It probably needs to be fixed before the 2020 election at this point.
Problem is, Dragon, with the 2020 election just months away, Whale knows what's gonna happen. Well, they better fix it fast. Otherwise, we don't have a snowball's chance in hell of uncucking the West.
I think this is it, Trumpster.
Yeah, I mean, long course it's gonna be until it gets fixed.
If Trump cannot fix the problem before the 2020 election comes around, I don't think he's going to win. That's how black-pilled I am at this point.
Well, if they can't fix this by 2020, well, Josh, see ya. Assuming that I don't show up, assuming I don't end it all. Because, man, considering all the crap that's happening today, I've become black-pilled like you wouldn't believe. I've become so bloody nihilistic.
I'm not convinced he's going to win.
I think one of the most important things for him to get done is the wall. And of course with welfare and all that type of stuff. But the wall, honestly,
that was his central campaign promise.
That was a major promise he made.
The thing is, Trumpster, I think it was, there was this whole thing right after the tax reform thing. Trump alluded that the next thing he was going to do was fix welfare, and InfoWars made a bunch of videos celebrating this, and then all this time later, nothing.
Yeah. I tell you though, I really wanted that wall really badly. And I know he's building it right now on the border, but oh my god, I needed it earlier than this. I needed it like a year, at least a year ago, honestly.
He's being betrayed by Congress. That's the problem.
I understand that,
You know what? I personally don't give a rat's ass at this point. Just punish them all. Punish them all. God will recognize his own. Dude, this ain't like you. At this point, I've become mega black-pilled. After this, I'm gonna do some Smitty stuff.
But you have these Congress people who are just such swamp monsters. Like slime bags who just really just want to weigh Trump down and just backstab him all the time. We had the House, check. We had the Senate, check. We had no help from Paul Ryan or the turtle Mitch McConnell.
Yeah. And now look what's happened. We're all but cucked at this point. Ah! I'm not going to forgive anybody. I'm not going to forgive both parties for this act of treachery. I think 2020 is going to be the last election I vote in. I'm gonna sit the rest of this crap out. And I don't care if I get called a fence sitter or a bloody cuck. I don't care anymore. I don't care about all that crap. I've been through way too much crap these past few years. It started with the SJWs. And now it's devolved into this. And I don't care that I'll have to uncut that timeline through brutal means. The West needs to be saved by any means necessary at this point.
We had zero help from any of those clowns.
And now here we are all this time later, no wall.
What we should have done immediately, like I don't know who his advisors were, but what I would do basically be very simple, right? First off, to get first day in office, declare national emergency. That's that. Put up, a lot of, make sure you get that right away. Second thing I would have done, honestly, when I got in, once the wall was up, immediately that's the first promise I made to everybody else. Second thing I would do is, of course, fix the the immigration and welfare system, right? Make it merit based and a lot less of it, because our country has the same problems right now.
If anything, I think he should fix the welfare state before building the wall, because then they'll be able to self-deport easier.
That's true, but again, a lot of people like who voted for him really wanted the wall. That was one of their major concerns.
I do want the walls, Trumpster.
No, I know, but
right after fixing the welfare state, the wall is like my top thing.
Right, but the thing is, some people the wall was their top issue because they're concerned about foreign, a foreign voter, foreign people coming in, and causing crime and stuff like that.
Which is a serious problem, guys. They're coming in, they're influencing our election, they're committing crimes. It's not good.
By the way, if you cross the border illegally, that's a crime. I'm sorry, when people tell me, "Oh, by the way, this illegal immigrant didn't do any crimes," I say, "No, the illegal alien invaded our country and crossed the border. That's trespassing. That's, of course, that is a crime by itself." So every illegal immigrant, every illegal alien is a criminal. The question is, how much crime have they caused? The main question at hand, honestly.
They might have crashed into someone drunk driving and then fled the scene. Who knows?
Because you don't have any knowledge about that, right? It's just all maybe. Maybe this person did that, and maybe he'll.
And they wonder why. I have to point out that Nephil and I have to point out that wherever Democrats run things, there's always more despair and more people suffering. It never ends, and why might that be? Because criminals vote them in. They mark for criminality. They can't win on just that, so they don't say it out loud. But whenever you hear the word omnibus, immigration reform, or fast track, they're marking for criminality.
The person won't kill anybody, but maybe not. Maybe the person will go and just stab somebody, or I don't know. It's just a lot of maybes and a lot of ifs. Scary, honestly. Well, you don't know what they're gonna do.
And yet these same people who tell them coal miners in Pennsylvania to learn the code still wonder why we hate their guts. If I were running the show, I would have all these traitors hung up by their necks until they're dead. Personally, I would get all the Republicans out of the House and outside. I'd trap the Democrats inside and set it on fire so I can teach these un-American pieces of scum a lesson. But whatever.
It's a major problem. how many people are in jail because of illegal immigration, how many people who are illegals who are in jail, and how many how many people.
Trustner, hold on. I just found an article, guys.
You sent it to me on Discord.
Let's see. Oh yeah, it's a Washington Compost article, by the way.
Oh great, the Washington Compost.
Why am I not
look at
surprised?
this
The AIDS rag of the internet has an article.
266,000 aliens arrested in the past 2 years. The number is right, but misleading. That is a lot of people, guys. What does it mean by misleading?
Misleading.
Oh,
maybe because
it doesn't really say what crime. Guys, that's a lot of crime. That's a lot of criminals being. That's a lot of foreign criminals in our country. Holy shit.
Oh well, actually no, that number is not actually right. No,
it's higher than that.
Oh my god, it's so much higher than this. The reason why I say it's higher than this is because there's a Breitbart article which I read before, which I always talk about whenever someone tells me that illegal immigration is not bad and it's okay and it doesn't kill anybody. 33% in 2014. It comes up.